guys, it's Kristen here from Broton, and I've been wanting to make this video now that I have like more machines. As if I didn't have a lot of machines before, I have more now. And I actually am waiting on a part for my mast, my Dragonhawk Mast Magi, because like I broke it. This is totally human error. It wasn't a fault of the machine. I was changing out the cam setting and I like jammed it in and broke it. So I talked to them and they're sending me a couple parts, but I have to wait a couple weeks because it's gonna take forever to get here. So anyways, onto the machines. So my newest machine is gonna be the Access Valhalla, which is great because it has 5 cam settings. So what do the cam settings mean? A quick rundown. Imagine you're playing baseball and you're doing a bunt. It's like a little, what would you call it, Peter? It's not gonna hit that hard. We'll edit that. It's not gonna hit that hard, okay? Versus if someone's giving you like, they're throwing the ball and you swing far really back and you go, it's gonna hit really hard. So you have 2. You have a little bunt that's gonna hit soft, and when you reach farther back, it's gonna get a bigger hit. So it's the same concept with the cam. So if it has a 2mm cam, it's not going to give too much what's called a hit, like that. If it has a 4.2mm cam, it's gonna give a lot of punch. So that's great about the Access. It has 2.5, 2.9, 3.4, 3.8, and a 4.2mm cam, which is a lot. And all you have to do is a quick little adjustment here. It's super, super easy on this machine. I normally use 2 machines when I'm working, so this is great because it cuts down on time, but I do have my little review about this. The Zion S, which I've had for like about 3 years now. I love this machine. I kind of go in and out of using it. If I get a new machine, this goes on the back burner, and then I'm like, I rediscover it every time and fall in love with it again. This one has the 1.8 cam and the 2.5mm cam. You have to take this in and out in order to change the cams. With the Valhalla, it's a simple switcheroo, very simple. You have the Rook quill. I like this machine a lot too. I have Peter use it for removals because it's super light. This has a 3mm cam. One of the things I don't like about it, which is why we have this piece of electrical tape here, is the magnetic end, which say if you're like using, you know, your arms move or something, this thing can pop off and it's really annoying for me. So we've remedied it with a simple piece of tape and it's fine. The next is the Dragonhawk Mast. This is also a 3.5mm cam. I love this. I use this exclusively for lips. I think it's amazing. It's also only $70. The Bellar by Microbeau. This, I believe, this is a first generation, so correct me if I'm wrong. It was either with a 1.7 or a 1.8mm cam. The later versions of this, I believe, are a 2.0mm cam. So this one hits super, super soft. This is great for powdery effects, super soft, but it's going to be more difficult on to implant ink on a lot of texture skin, oily skin, that kind of thing. So you got to watch out for that. So let's start with the Access Valhalla. It does go to 2.5, so it's starting higher than the Bellar, okay? But this is really nice to have handy. So my qualm with this, I think it's heavier than the Zion S. I forgot how much they weigh off the top of my head, but to me this does feel heavier. Also, I feel like there's more weight back here. So when I'm using it, it's not as easy and it's not as ergonomic for me. I prefer to use the Zion S. I feel like this is more weighted evenly, / maybe a little bit more over here. And this one is a lot more ergonomic for me when I'm working. Size-wise, you can see the Valhalla is a little tiny bit longer, and we're gonna do close-ups of this too. So that also plays into it. Why? I was trying to do hair strokes with my rotary machines, but because you have the cartridge sticking out as well, there's almost so much distance. It feels so far away to get to the skin, and I don't like that, which is why I ended up ordering an IMEA handpiece, which is going to be coming in a couple weeks too. So there's that. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my work. So I actually prefer to have a separate machine for each kind of procedures, or two machines for a specific procedure, as opposed to having an all around. So I don't regret getting the Access Valhalla. I just believe for how I work as an artist, I like to have dedicated pieces, and that's just how I work. I don't like to have an all around piece. So I find myself lately not reaching for the Valhalla. I'd rather just go ahead and stick with my Zion with a 2.5 millimeter cam for most procedures. I will use the Dragonhawk Mast at a 3.5 millimeter cam for lips because I love it. And I don't use the Rook too much because, again, Peter's using it for removals. And I like new toys. I also like how this has a little bit more weight to it. This is something that I really, really enjoy. I also prefer this size of grip, which is similar to the Zion S. The Rook quill is super small, it's tiny, it's like almost weightless, which is awesome, but I feel like the vibration is a little bit too much, especially for hair strokes. So I've attempted hair strokes with all of these machines, and I don't like hair strokes on any of them, which is why I decided to invest in the IMEA, I believe it's the Facile hand piece, or the Supreme hand piece, I'm not sure which one. But anyways, I wasn't satisfied with any kind of vibration on these machines for hair strokes, which is why I decided to invest in that piece. So I'm hoping that's the one. So, you know, it's kind of like an artist with paintbrushes. Yes, I have a lot of paintbrushes. I have a lot of my favorites for different procedures, and I'm hoping that the IMEA device will be the one paintbrush that I need to take my artistry for hair strokes to the next level, to give me less frustration, make them really easy, because like with this machine, for instance, for lips, it's a dream to work on. I love it. I'm not super fond of using this on lips, again, because it's that balance for me with this whole machine. It's so heavy on the back end that I'm not super fond of using it all the time. Okay. So now let's go ahead and talk about vibration. This is my metal tray, okay? And I'm gonna turn on each one. I do have a splitter, which I purchased from Microbeau Supply, which Mary Hall Scott runs. This thing is amazing, I love it. Again, because I use two machines like all the time. I'm gonna keep everything at a 5.8 and we'll see how it sounds. I'm gonna leave it on the tray so maybe you can hear the differences. 5.8 volts. Okay, that's at the 2.5 millimeter cam. Let's put it at a 3.4. That's that. The Zion S, 5.8 volts. It's a little bit louder, but it's smoother. There's less vibration in the Zion S. Okay, let's do the next two. This is gonna be the Rook Quill at 5.8 volts. It's about the same volume as the Zion S, but it is a lot more vibration. The Dragonhawk Mast, 3.5 at 5.8 volts. Can you hear that? That's why I like this machine. There's almost like no vibration. It's lovely. It could almost be used for hair strokes, except that it's a little too heavy and a little too bulky. But for $70, this is amazing. But of course, it only has the one cam setting, the 3.5, so that's it. That's all you're gonna be getting. But it's super low vibration. It's super quiet. It feels super smooth in my hand. I love it. Let's hear that again. Very nice. And last, but certainly not least, the Bellar. So I like to use the Bellar when I'm doing eyeliner, right around the lash line enhancement. It keeps everything super soft because it has such a low cam setting like installed in it. So it keeps everything super, super soft and kind of like powdery, which is what I like for the lash line. I get that more pixeled effect by using a slightly longer cam, like a 2.5 or a 3.0. Let's hear that one. It's even a little louder than the Mast, isn't it? Tiny bit. And there is a tiny bit more vibration than the Mast in my experience. So again, this is my experience. This is what I think of my machines. I'd love to hear your questions, comments, thoughts about them. What are your favorite machines and why? So I have a couple machines I will be reviewing next. I have the Dragonhawk Mast Magi, which is going to be coming in the mail. I ordered a new one again, but I also ordered some parts to fix my old one because I really like it. I usually keep it on the 2mm cam setting, although you can switch it in and out for the 2 or the 3. And then I also have Amaya Supreme or Facile handpiece, whichever one that is. And I'm going to be using it with my Critical Atom X, which is my favorite. I also got the Hover, which you can go like that or something, but I haven't tried it yet. It's still in the box. It's been in the box for several months. But anyways, have a great evening. Make sure to follow, make sure to comment, all that kind of stuff. Have a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick run through now that we're a little bit closer, so you can hear the machine and then you'll be able to hear the vibration on the metal, okay? So first one, we're gonna go ahead and do the Microbeau Bellar at a 5.8 volts. Here we go. Let's do the Dragonhawk Mast. The Rook Quill. The Zion S. Axis Valhalla. This is 4.2 now. And it's more vibration at a 4.2 and a 5.8 volts. This is a 2.5. It's a lot more quiet. I'm going to run it up to 7 volts. .2 cam at 7 volts. .5. Sorry, 2.9 or whatever. You can check out the sizes. You can see all the grips, how they're all different. Okay, done.